so you may notice that I've got a block underneath my feet. So I'm going to quickly run through seated posture and what that should look like. I'm actually going to turn sideways on. Now, obviously, sometimes it's difficult to control what chair we are using. Mine is high-backed and it's got a back to it, and I could put a cushion here if I struggled in seated. So the great thing about being in seated is there's a few things you can do to make yourself a little bit more comfortable. Now, if I take the block away, as you can see, my feet are not flat to the floor. So the reason for the block is to enable me to sit with good posture. So now I have pretty much almost a good right angle here in the knee, okay, which is what we're looking for. And I can tilt my pelvis slightly here to help me sit a bit taller. Now, if sitting in this kind of neutral spine position here is a bit challenging for you, then you could heighten, so sit yourself on a cushion, a bit like we would do if we were on the mat, and we could start lifting ourselves up to create this pelvic tilt again. You can see now that's even easier to sit taller. Now, be careful with sitting. You don't want to be sitting like this, so creating this hyperextension in the lumbar spine. You want to be sitting still in neutral. So if you remember, let's start here with some pelvic tilt. So we do this in standing, so where you've got best to have the hand in front and behind here, and you're taking this whole lumbar spine through your two extreme ranges of motion. So the tailbone comes underneath and then we take it back. It's a little harder to do and isolate the upper body when you're seated, but we can still manage it. So just really focus the mind on the tailbone, yes, to try and limit the range of movement through the trunk of the body. And then you find that kind of halfway point, which is your neutral. And then as we're standing, your shoulders are down, chest lifted, and we have that good seated posture. I won't go into if you're using computers and things and where that should be with the arms. I'll just focus on being in the chair. So that is your seated posture to start with, and then we're going to do a little bit of mobility today. So this is really good to do, I don't know, if first thing in the morning you've got quite stiff joints and being standing just doesn't feel good, or again if you're working in a chair all day. So let's start off in your seated posture, nice and tall. So chin, gap between the chin and the chest, chest lifted, shoulders down, tucked into their back pockets. So we're going to take a breath in, bring the right arm all the way up here to rest onto the shoulder. And then on the exhale, we're going to circle. So imagine that you've got, I don't know, a pencil in your elbow and you are drawing circles on the wall. So remember, try not to hyperextend the spine in sitting tall. If it helps, you can put a cushion behind you and sit further back in your chair. And let's just bring that arm forwards now. Or the other option is just to slide yourself back a bit further, but obviously you want to make sure that you've got your knees are still on the mat. On the mat, on the chair. Slipping back into the usual terminology. Good, now let's bring it up the other side and do the same. So chair workouts, seated workouts are becoming increasingly more common now. Obviously trying to include everybody, ensure that everybody, regardless of age and level of fitness, can still participate. So these chair seated workouts are great for those people with mobility issues, people who struggle to be standing or down on the floor, and obviously office workers. Good. So there's your shoulders, and then just relax your arms down so they're hanging just to the side of the chair. And then here we're just going to take some little tilts of the neck. So just gentle stretching down to the side. Good. So it's a really, you would really take your time with this because you've got your hands hanging down, so you're getting the most amount of stretch into the neck here. Hold to the center, and then we're going to shake the head. So if we're saying no. Good. So that little stretch, feeling that stretch without moving the shoulders. Come back to the center, and then yes. So squeezing the chin down and then lifting the head. Good, again, keeping everything nice and still, and then we can put all of those movements together to create some nice neck rolls all the way through. Now, to enable your strong seated posture, remember your core muscles here. So you need to make sure they're drawn in slightly engaged. This is going to help support the trunk of your body and not put too much pressure on the upper back of the shoulders. Good, now let's come all the way back to the center. Bring the arms forwards here so the wrists are in line with the shoulders. And then you're going to draw this right elbow back. Good, come all the way back here. And then again, draw the left. So let your eyes follow the elbow, but keep the trunk of the body facing forwards. Good. So we're going to take one more here to each side. So kind of opening and stretching into the top of the shoulder here and into the chest. So one more here. And then we're going to take the arm out, full extension. So open that right arm out. So keep everything facing forwards. Let the arm come all the way back as far as you can. So I've got a high back on my chair, so it's limiting a little bit how far I can come back. But again, if you're the same, you can always kind of turn slightly to an angle. Give yourself a little bit more room. Good. So really opening into the chest. And again, this is a great stretch to do if you are an office worker. Obviously, bearing in mind that you're going to be in this position. These pectorals will get short, will get tight and short. So really good to open up into the chest and release any tightness into the pecs. Good, now from here, we're going to lift the arms all the way up overhead, and then as you bring the arms down, I want you to circle into the wrists. So all the way up here, and then bring the arms down, circle. So we're getting a bit of mobility into the wrists. Good, all the way up here, and circle. Good, now again, lift the arms all the way up here, take a breath in here, and then on the exhale, as you bring the arms forwards, I want you to lift up through the trunk of the body here, fold over the legs, and send the arms back behind you. Inhale, lift, and then exhale. So fold here at the waist. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Sending those arms behind. Yeah? Good. So maybe coming a bit further forwards each time. Good, well done. Last one here. And then we take the arms out here, wrists in line with the shoulders, slight softness in the elbows, and then you're going to just roll forwards and then open the chest. Roll forwards. So imagine that you are swimming the butterfly. So your arms come up, you sweep them into the water, you pull underneath. Good. So we get a really good bit of mobility into the shoulders. We start to open up all the way through the spine. So gradually coming a bit further forwards and then lifting back. Making the movement bigger here. Good, now let's add. So come all the way back here. Then you're going to take your right arm up and we're going to glide down here. So using your left hand to draw you down to the floor. All the way back. Let's take another dive forwards, open up, left arm, we come over here. You start to feel a little bit more open. Roll forwards. I think this is a really nice way to mobilize in seated. Good, and come forwards. All the way up. We're going to take just two more here. Diving forwards. All the way up. Last one as we Come all the way through. Good, well done. Good, and then find your good seated posture. Now, from here, lift the arms forwards, place one hand on top of the other. Now, it's quite important here to try not to hunch into the shoulders, keep the shoulders down. We're going to twist to the right. Come back to the center and twist to the left. Good, all the way back to the center. Good. So just getting a little bit of mobility through the vertebra of the spine. So remember, try not to hyperextend. Just sit tall with the shoulders down. Good, one more to each side. Good, keeping that chin in line with the forearms. Bring the hands down, just hold on to the side of the chair. Just bring the knees in together here, up onto the tiptoes, and then you're just gonna rock the knees over to the right, all the way back to the center, and rock the knees over to the left. So just getting a bit of a squeeze into the obliques. So it's just a small rock from side to side. So you just shifted the knees over. The sit bones are still down on the chair here. Good. And then come all the way back. Bring the feet out in line with the hips here. Shoulders down. And then we're just going to lift the heel of the right leg. Lower down, lift the heel of the left. Good. So just bringing the heel away from the floor here. Opening up in to the lower part of the leg, into the ankle. Good, and into the Achilles and the soleus. Good, opening up here. Now from here, we're going to extend the right leg out, and then we're going to flex the foot. So show me the palms of your feet, and then point the toe. Flex and point. Good, so just lengthening now all the way in to the leg, and then add a little circle for me. Doesn't matter which direction, we're going to change direction here. Good, and all the way back the other way. Good, now bring the foot down, let's take the same to the other side. So extend the leg out here so it's straight, flex the foot, and then point the toe. Good, so feeling that stretch all the way through the leg. Good. And then we circle. And again the other way. Good, just get a bit of movement here. And then bring those feet back down here. We're going to just lift the right leg completely away. So lift the heel and then lift, drop down. Lift the left heel and then lift. So again, try to stay nice and tall through the upper body here. And lift. Good, so just holding on to the side of your chair. So just marching those legs up. Good, and lift. Good, well done. We're just going to take a few more. Good, one more to each side here. Good. And then from here, I'm going to move my block out to the side. You just slide yourself slightly forwards here to the edge of your chair. Now you're going to bring your hands down to the side here. So your legs are nice and straight, but you've got the support of the chair underneath you. And then here we lift the right leg up a little bit higher. And then the left. Good, we lift. So just marching those legs up now, just getting into the hips here. We lift. Good. So again, try to keep the chest open, shoulders down. Just using your hands with the chair here just to support. So your bottom's going to be pretty much on the edge of the chair. Good. Last one here. And then just stay with the bottom on the edge. And then just lift the right knee here. And we're just going to start to circle that hip. Good, so just a gentle circle here. Good, just opening up into that hip, just getting a little bit of mobility. Good, and then bring the foot down to the floor. Let's take the same to the other side. So just using the hands to support you so you don't slip off the edge of your chair, and just circling into that hip. Now, maybe keeping the leg elevated is too much. You might need to take one and then drop down. Good. And then rest it down here. You're going to send your right leg away. And then holding onto the chair again, you're going to switch, switch, switch. Good. So get a little bit of blood flowing now, taking those legs into extension. Good. Also just starting to warm up a little bit through the core. Good. So just taking a couple more here. And then bringing those feet back, pressing yourself back into your chair. And that is your morning mobility done, your seated mobility done. I hope you enjoyed it, something a little bit different.